All right, welcome to Podcast Perspectives, man. Episode 1. Oh, you could say the introduction episode. I did a bunch of recordings up to this point, and I'm just like, I had to come back and let people know who I am, what I do, and why I'm doing this. So I wrote a few notes down so you may see me looking down. Just a way for me to be able to keep up and keep track and not kind of go off tangent, because I'll go off tangent real quick. All right, so who I am. Tavares Gibson. A lot of people know me as Tman. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana, born and raised. At about 19, me and my wife, fiance, we had ended up moving to Atlanta. She came up with the idea. We just took off by ourselves, us two, and here we are today. Born single family household like a lot of people, by my father, my grandmother, and my aunt. Very interesting people. I got into real estate, purchased my first property at 22. So that was about 3 years ago. When I purchased that first property, I kind of fell in love with it. Started getting into it, learning it, getting around the right people. And that's kind of the gist on that. Ended up starting a maintenance company. Cool story behind that about how I got into that. And then another thing I do is I help people with credit, leveraging your credit, figuring out how to get funding and things for your business. I learned that trick along starting my own businesses, because I got a couple other businesses that I run. But for now, just know I got the maintenance company. I do real estate. Another thing I want to talk about is, why am I sharing this? Why am I getting into this world of social media? A lot of people who know me, they know that I'm really not the biggest social media person. I really am referred to as the old man. They look at me as the uncle, the old guy, the guy who, once I get the phone, I'm like, oh, how you do this? How you do that? But what ended up happening was I had a lot of people who was asking me a lot of questions about what I did, trying to figure out how I did certain things I did, and, just wanted to be either around it or educated by it or inspired or what have you. But so what ended up happening was I answer people's questions and help people out. But when I started getting the same questions from people, I started being like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity to be able to share it to a lot of people. So what ended up happening was my wife gave me the idea to start a podcast, and a couple other people gave me the idea, but I kind of ignored it until it clicked in my head. I do that. I wouldn't do something unless it clicked to me. So when it clicked to me, I was like, okay, let me get the social media stuff a try. So I ended up getting back on social media for like 2 weeks. I wasn't really posting, but what I was doing was kind of scoping out the game. Kind of like when you get into real estate and you start looking at the area, seeing how that area perform, what's the average house price, like things like that. I started doing that with social media, and I started noticing like it was kind of weird the way things was. Like it's almost like a pissing match. You also have falsified realities. And then on top of that, you will have people kind of not being as transparent with what they have going on, like how they got something, or if something is theirs, or if it's not. It's kind of like goes back to the false reality. So what ended up happening, I was like, okay, maybe I should get into this. Maybe I should be the one to shed the light in a positive way and be as transparent as I can, where I can, so that people can get a better understanding of how stuff work and not be so misled. So what I want to build is a community where like-minded people can get together, talk about ideas, learn, grow with each other. Because as I grow this podcast, the community, the social media platforms, I want the community and the people to grow with me and be able to see how I'm doing it and the ways I go about it. So it'll kind of be like a cheat code. And then at the same time, we'll be able to grow together. So, the quicker we can be able to grow this podcast, grow this community, grow the platforms, the more attention I can give to it. So as it grows, that's more attention I can get to it. That's more guests I could bring on. That's more videos I could shoot. That's, more opportunities and experiences I can share, because now it becomes a thing that kind of brings me into it because of all the attention it's getting, all the traction. So, let's get ready to grow this thing. And that's really it. Just building a community, watching me grow these social media platforms. And that's really the gist of it. One thing I want to really close it out with is, like I said, I'm not a social media person. So if you see me getting on here and doing this, and if you watch this journey and when you see me growing it, that should let you know, that should be an indicator to you that what can't you do? You know what I'm saying? If you seeing a guy who don't do social media, I really don't need to do social media, but I felt like I'm already a talkative person with people. I'm already like, I guess you can say a people's person. And so I got into it. But anyway, like, if you see me growing this and being able to make this successful, that should be an indicator to you that it's not much that you can't do. If I'm able to get on social media, grow this stuff, and make it a thing, nothing you can't do. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I got for y'all, man. Be tuned in. I'm gonna try to drop 2 episodes a month. One with a guest, one with myself. Probably end up bringing somebody else on that second part of the month with me when I shoot by myself. But, that's really the gist of how we gonna do it. Just be ready for the growth, man. Let's all just stay consistent. If I'm consistent, become consistent on here, y'all gotta become consistent. So it's really how I'm gonna close it out, man. Appreciate y'all. And if you made it to this point in the recording, man, you're a cool motherfucker. Just gonna let you know that now. If you made it all the way to the end, listen to this all the way through, what I'm gonna probably end up doing for the people who make it all the way through the episode, I'm gonna end up dropping gems, dropping little pieces of game that you can apply to your life immediately, right after listening to it. But that's something I'm gonna come up with. We're gonna figure that out. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you for checking it out. I'm out. T. See it. How long that was? 10 minutes?